All this waste is discarded from ships entering the port of Rotterdam. But only a third of the vessels unload their waste in port. So, what happens to the other two-thirds?
This is a young gannet. We find them on the beaches. It has entangled itself in some thread-like materials. In this case it looks like a potato net. And so they wrap it around their bill and it doesn't let loose anymore, so they cannot feed properly and they slowly die from starvation and end up at the beach.
Biologist Jan Andries van Franeker is concerned. Jan Andries monitors the impact our waste from land and sea has on both wildlife and the environment. So what's the scale of the waste problem? After making a sweep of only 40 square meters, this is the result. Based on regular waste collection, the overall statistics are not hard to calculate. The estimated amount of waste that ends up just in the North Sea is more than 20,000 tons each year. But there is good news, and it's coming from here. Rotterdam, one of the world's largest ports. This is the nerve center of the port of Rotterdam.
The port of Rotterdam is one of the major ports in Western Europe. On a yearly basis, we have 33,000 ocean-going vessels visiting our port, and in total we have about 1 million ship movements. Before an ocean-going vessel enters the port of Rotterdam, she has to send an electronic notification to the harbour master 24 hours in advance. And the notification includes the ETA, so that is the estimated time of arrival, the draft, the cargo, and so on.
Here everything comes together. Every detail of every ship that enters here is on record. How long it will stay, what cargo it carries, and what's to be unloaded. And that includes the waste.
Almost everything is recyclable. So every port should have the possibilities, and Rotterdam has, to receive waste from ships. And Rotterdam really wants to be a port who accepts all those waste from the ships.
Efficiency is key here. As every minute counts, the waste has to be removed as normal port business is conducted. The port is alive, day and night. In the middle of the night, the Adrian Mask arrives. Loading and unloading starts the moment it moors, and goes on for hours. At the same time, life on board takes its course. In the kitchen, the meal is prepared. A ship is a small town. It's a well-oiled machine, operating continually, producing waste continually. Not only at the dinner table. The supplies are wrapped and need to be unpacked. Machine room maintenance is a continuous job, generating a lot of oily rags and oil waste. At the Adrian mast, all waste is meticulously separated. While being loaded and unloaded, the ship is approached on the other side by a small vessel, ready to take its waste and process it. At the same time, the inspector arrives to see if everything is properly being taken care of.
We have mobile inspection teams in our port, inspectors visiting the ships, and they also checking the waste log on board of vessels. And if they see something which is not correct, they inform Port State Control, and Port State Control has the possibility to detain the vessel.
This waste has just been collected from ships that are at sea for months at a time. Just imagine the effect of all this waste dumped into the oceans. Jan Andries van Franeker doesn't need to imagine it. He monitors the effects daily.
This is a fulmar, northern fulmar. It's a member of the albatross family, birds that live out at sea all the time. Unlike gulls, they do not come ashore to feed. They only feed out at sea. And so by looking at their stomach contents, we can check how things are out at sea, whether it's getting cleaner or dirtier, or whether we in the southern North Sea have a more dirty area than way up to the north. So it's a monitoring instrument for marine litter.
From all areas around the North Sea, dead fulmars are being sent to Jan Andries's lab. The birds are measured, their condition, sex and age are registered. It's not hard to find the cause of death.
You can already feel it has died slowly from starvation. So it has used all its fat and even muscle tissue before it died.
This strange lump is found in the stomach.
It looks like a big lump of paraffin, which is discharged by a lot of ships when cleaning the hulls.
Washing out the stomach, Jan Andries finds out what this one dead fulmar mistook for food in the open sea.
This one, I assume, died from the big lump of paraffin in the stomach. It was like a big cork blocking the stomach, the passage from the stomach to the gut. So it just died from hunger.
But there is more in this bird.
This looks like a piece of onion skin. So a lot of galley waste from ship. There's fragments from bottles or toys or hard pieces of plastic. There are a lot of industrial granules like these items. They are the raw product in which plastic is made. There's not much foam in this one. It's all hard, mostly hard types of plastic. And then, like for example, thread-like plastics, pieces of nylon wire here. These birds seem to be flying around quite happily, but almost every one of these fulmars that you see flying around carries plastic in its stomach, carries chemicals in its tissues, and so the level of impact we have is scary.